Did y'all miss this yesterday? I did my best yesterday to make the regular Sunday is over, or your season is over Sunday video. My voice was gone. I couldn't do it. So I did the best I could. I put up some clips from the game for you guys, but I'm gonna make up for that now, and I'm gonna give you my comment. I'm gonna give you my commentary on this past weekend's games, like I normally do on the Sunday morning your season is over video. So never fear, Uncle Lou is here to give you the breakdown from this past weekend. Still going to do the top 10 video that I normally do on Mondays, but I think what I'm going to do with that top 10 video, I'm just going to put my top 10 up on the screen at the beginning of the 3 o'clock live show today. Of course, we do the live show every Monday at 3, the call-in show. So I'll take like the first 5 minutes of that show and I'll put my top 10 up on the screen and go through it. We also have the jersey giveaway today for the Patreon members. So if you're a Patreon member, somebody's winning a jersey today during the 3 o'clock show. So we'll do the top 10, then the jersey giveaway, and then your phone calls. 3 o'clock show today, brag or cry edition, Monday, Uncle Lou Live. Yeah, so that's the plan for today. So anyway, where's my notes at? Now, of course, I was at the game Saturday, so I wasn't able to sit here in my grandma's basement and watch all the college football games this past Saturday like I normally do, to provide you guys with an in-depth, detailed analysis of everything you need to know from the world of college football in the previous Saturday. However, I did get up to Athens around 11:30, and the place where I tailgated, there were a bunch of TVs set up, and the Georgia game wasn't until 7. So I did watch quite a bit of several of the noon games, Florida, South Carolina. What else did I watch some of? Ohio State, Michigan State. So I saw some of the games, but not going to pretend I saw them all. But did some research yesterday and this morning. Copious notes, so you already know. We'll start with the duds whose season ended again from this past weekend. Auburn. Well, I mean, what is there to say really about Auburn that I haven't been telling you for the better part of, 2-3 years? Gus Malzahn is just not that good of a coach. Listen, the talent on Auburn's team is much better than their record. A lot of times under Gus Malzahn. Last year was a pretty good year for the Barn, but in general, their record vastly underperforms their talent level, and that's coaching. Now, you idiots gave this guy a raise last year for no reason, beating 2 teams in the regular season. Listen, just because you get owned by 2 teams on a regular basis and you luck up and beat them in the same year is no reason to go full potato on the contract like you guys did with the 7 years, $7 million a year. I mean, it was just ridiculous. You way overreacted on that contract just to keep that idiot Malzahn from going to Arkansas. It was absolutely ridiculous. You gave him that huge raise and extension. The guy didn't even win the SEC, lost a bowl game to a non-Power 5 team. I mean, it was just bad. Okay? Then you come out this year, all offseason, Auburn was back. You know, they were winning the SEC this year. They were taking the next step, blah, blah, blah. You come out, and by the time you get to the Georgia game, you're already sitting on, 3 losses, including one to Tennessee? I mean, that's just embarrassing. The talent gap between Auburn and Tennessee is like the Grand Canyon. So not only did you lose, you got out-coached by a guy in his first year ever as a head coach. I mean, it's just bad. You're rolling out of 3 losses. Now you're sitting on 4, 27-10. Your offense was just pitiful in this game. And listen, Georgia honestly played one of the worst games that they've played of the season in this game. Now, the running game was okay, and of course, the 70-yard run by Swift there in the second half sort of inflates the numbers a little bit, but you guys' offense is just pitiful. I mean, just really bad. And Gus Malzahn is supposed to be an offensive guy. It's just hard to understand. But, Georgia had penalty after penalty. I could make a whole video on how frustrating it is to watch the University of Georgia win games by 20 and 30 points, but just look bad doing it. Now, I don't want to sound all negative. I mean, I remember the days where Georgia would play really bad and lose by 10 to 20 to 30 points to good or better teams. Nowadays, they're winning those games by, in this case, 17, even though they look really, really bad. But how many penalties can you get in one game for too many men on the field on offense? These illegal substitution penalties. It's just mind-boggling. It really is. And it's hard to... I mean, that's coaching, isn't it? I mean, the coaches... I know sometimes maybe a player forgets to go in or forgets to come off, but it just seems like that's coaching if you have that many illegal substitution penalties. I don't know. But nevertheless, we humiliated you 27-10 in one of our worst games of the year. But so now you're sitting on 4 losses. You got Bama in, 10 days or 12 days? You got to play Bama. I mean, so 7-5. And it's like I told you, 7-5 is really the best case scenario for the barn because you're not winning. You're just not going to win anything meaningful like the SEC. You're not making a playoff or anything. So it really doesn't do any good for the barn to win 9 or 10 games because all that does is give you guys false hope, make you think Malzahn's good. And then it puts you in a good bowl game that we already know you can't win. I mean, Gus Malzahn has won 1 bowl game since he's been at Auburn, right? And that was the Birmingham Bowl. Well, this is great news then. You go 7-5, you may get the Birmingham Bowl again, and maybe Gus can get his second bowl win for you. But the reality is, I mean, honestly, your season was over a long time ago, but you know how this works. You get humiliated by my dogs, your season is over. I'm sorry. Kentucky... another thing I was right about here. Kentucky was a one-man show that won a couple of close games really on luck alone. Vandy, Missouri, those easily could have gone the other way, especially the Missouri game. I mean, that pass interference was non-existent that they called on Missouri, and then you got an untimed down at the end of the game and hit a touchdown to win it by 1 point. But, I mean, how many weeks in a row did you score 13, 14 points, 15 points? And win, Benny Snell, you're giving this guy the ball 25 times a game. I kept telling you, you're going to be just like the barn. Come the end of the season, you're going to be terrible. And look what's happening. It's the end of the season. Benny Snell is wore out, and you get absolutely road graded by one of the worst teams in the SEC, Tennessee. So, I mean, Benny Snell will go pro if he's got any sense at all. He's a junior. Is that right? I think he's a junior, but I mean, he should go pro. Kentucky's just going to do the same thing next year, where the running backs have limited tread on their tires. Ask Auburn. That's why they keep losing every November. We're out there one good running back they have, and they can't win a game. I mean, hard really to kick Kentucky. I mean, listen, Kentucky still had a good year. What is Kentucky now? 7-3? They lose. Yeah, I think they're 7-3, right? Could go 9-3. Even if you go 8-4, that's still a good year for Kentucky. So, bad news for Kentucky is that Duke is 45 points better than you in basketball. That's really the bad news for Kentucky. But anyway, I digress. Miami, again, something that I've been telling Miami for 2 years. Now all the Miami fans are in the UNCLELOU comment section, telling me I was right. How did y'all put up with this guy for 15 years and blah, blah, blah. It's hard to find any other excuse other than Mark Richt for Miami performing the way they've performed this year. Now, I know Miami hasn't necessarily been an elite team over the last 15 years, no matter who the coach has been, but they have the talent right now to win that division, and they can't even come close. Are they 5-5 now? Yeah, lose to Georgia Tech. I mean, even at Georgia, Mark Richt owned Georgia Tech, and now he's at Miami, can't even beat them. You lost to Virginia and Duke. I mean, just some unexplainable losses. The ACC is one of the worst conferences. I mean, the ACC and the Pac-12 are the 2 worst conferences, and Miami is just getting run over in a terrible ACC. They can't decide on a quarterback. Mark Richt doesn't want to hire an offensive coordinator. I mean, all the same stuff we've seen at UGA. It's just, the guy hasn't learned any lessons, it appears to me. But he's still a really nice guy. He still holds Bible study for the players. He still hands out hugs after every loss. So, he's still got the whole I'm a good guy routine thing going for him. But Miami, man, just cash it in. start focusing on recruiting or something. You guys have just had an abysmal season, and there's just no excuse for it, especially in the division that you guys are in. You should have ran away with it, and instead you're getting run over. So that's embarrassing. Focus! Stupid camera. Who else's season ended? I forgot who all I put up on a season ends video yesterday. Oh, South Carolina again. South Carolina had that game won against Florida. I mean, you guys led most of the game. You let Florida come back on you at the end. I watched a good bit of that one there at the tailgate. South Carolina ended up losing, 35-31. Florida was a 6.5 point favorite, though. I picked South Carolina in the 6.5, so that was a winner, but you should have won the game outright. You looked like the better team for 3.5 quarters. In the fourth quarter, it's like you just stopped trying and just let Florida do whatever they want. But anyway, is Florida fan bragging about this win? I don't know. There's no reason to. None that I can think of. I mean, two bad teams there, South Carolina and Florida, right? One team whose fans have had just about enough of their coach, the boom chicken, the Will Muschamp. South Carolina fans about to give up on this guy. And another coach, Dan Mullen, whose fans are finally starting to realize he's the same Dan Mullen he was at Mississippi State. He's gonna struggle to beat average teams. He's gonna lose to most of the ranked teams that he plays. I mean, I don't understand these teams like Miami, South Carolina, Florida, who get these recycled coaches. Then the coaches do the same things they did when they were head coaches before, and the fans act surprised. Like, I don't know, what did you think you were getting? I mean, Mark Richt has been just like advertised for Miami. Will Muschamp, just like advertised for South Carolina. Dan Mullen, just like advertised. I mean, it's hard to understand why these fans are acting surprised but anyway, reality's setting in with the Mullenade. Season over for those teams. Tennessee fan, where y'all been? I can't tell you how many Tennessee fans have showed up in the UNCLELOU comment section in the last 2 days since Tennessee beat Kentucky, bragging. Lou said we were going 5-7. This idiot doesn't know anything. This idiot picked Kentucky to beat Tennessee. He's an idiot, doesn't know anything about football. Listen, I've picked Tennessee to lose their last, hold on, let me add this up. I've picked Tennessee to lose their last 15 SEC games, and I'm 13-2 in those games. You're 2-13, Tennessee fan, because you picked Tennessee to win every week. Every offseason, you're going 15-0. Every week, you're beating whatever team it is you're playing, and every week you fall up short, with the exception of 2 out of your last, 15 SEC games? How many? Well, you played 6 this year, 8 last year. That's 14. You lost to Vandy last week of the year, but yeah, that's 15. So you're 2-13 in your last 15 SEC games, but I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, well, I'm 13-2. I'll take that record, and you can take the 2-13. But these "we're back" comments are hilarious. Please keep the "we're back" comments coming, Tennessee fan. I almost hope Tennessee beats Missouri and Vandy. What would that put them at? 7-5? Right? You're 5-5 now? I think so. So that would put you at 7-5, and it would end your season on like a 3 or 4 game winning streak, whatever it is. I almost hope that happens, just so we can get an entire offseason of "we're back" from the Vols. I mean, that would make next year's collapse that much more entertaining for me. But obviously, I'm not picking you to win either of your last 2 games. Missouri will beat you by 100. Vandy will beat you by 125. So type on that. I don't know. So yeah, I'll take my chances and pick it and continue to pick against the Vols. Like I said, you're 2-13 in your last 15 SEC games. So hey, I detect a pattern here. Who won yesterday? It didn't look too good doing it. Well, Georgia, already talked about that. Oklahoma, man. When I previewed the Oklahoma State game, I told you, I said, what's the over/under on this game? 100? People laughed in the comment section. Oklahoma fan, man, been trying to tell me their we got rid of the problem. We got rid of stupid defense, playing better now. Oklahoma beat a terrible Oklahoma State team 48-0. to 47. 48 to 47. No defense. I mean, again, this is a theme here, but the same things I've been saying about Oklahoma, I just can keep saying because they're true. I mean, I told you everything about Auburn all year. It's true. I told you everything about South Carolina. It's true. I told you everything about Dan Mullen. It's true. I told you about Martin Ritt in Miami. It's true. I told you about Oklahoma and I had no defense. It's true. 48 to 47 against Oklahoma State. Congratulations on winning and having no defense and really not even trying to play any defense in this game. Embarrassing. Clemson 27-7 over Boston College. You know what? I think that's kind of a good win, though. Boston College is not a terrible team. You had to play on the road. You won by 20 points. Admittedly, I did not watch any of that game, so it's hard for me really to put a lot of these games in the look good or look bad category. I don't want to try to pretend with you guys that I watched them. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I was at the Georgia game, so I didn't get a chance to watch many of these games. But that's a pretty good win. Bama 24-0 over Mississippi State. That's a pretty good win. You should have scored more on Mississippi State. And I'm trying to, I don't know if I should do this now. I may make a separate video on this. In fact, let me know in the comment section. I'm thinking about making a separate video about butthurt, baby, just soft, whiny Alabama fans. I didn't watch the games, but I've seen the replays. These are clean hits that Tua is taking. These are not dirty hits. These Alabama fans are whining and crying like somebody shot their best pig every time somebody gets within the same zip code of Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, this is football, lady. People get hit in football. Tamaga's going to run around. He's going to get hit. I saw the hit that they're saying was going for his knees. He clearly hit him in the thigh. Listen, you have a window of about 16 inches that you're legally allowed to hit the quarterback. This hit was within that window. It was above the knee and below the neck. And these Alabama fans just cry and whine and bitch and moan every single time somebody gets within the same zip code of this pineapple. It's a bad look for y'all. This is a real bad look for y'all, Gumps. I'd like to say, let me stop right there. Let me know in the comments section if you want me to make a separate video on that. And I'll try to do that one day this week. But y'all need to grow up. This is football. LSU, what are you doing beating Arkansas 24-17? That's pitiful. Oh, Ohio State. Now, here's one I actually did watch, okay? So you say, oh, well, they won 26-6. That's a good win over a pretty good Michigan State team. Ohio State was winning this game 9-6 in the fourth quarter. 9-6. You get Michigan State backed up to their own goal line. They run the dumbest goal line play you can possibly run. They're backed up into their own end zone. And they do one of these things where you send the slot receiver in motion. The quarterback was in shotgun, and you send the slot receiver in motion between the quarterback and the center, and you try to time the snap to where you don't know if the quarterback's going to hand it to the slot receiver or keep it or hand it to someone else or throw whatever. And the center just snapped it a second too soon or too late or whatever, and it hit the idiot running by, fumble, ended up being a touchdown for Ohio State. And another turnover right after that. So anyway, you scored some garbage points here late in the fourth quarter in a game that your offense was non-existent for the majority of this game. Like I said, this game was 9-6 into the fourth quarter. So Ohio State, listen, how bad is Michigan going to beat you? Let's get started on this coaching search too, if there even is one. I don't think there is one. I think Ryan Day will be elevated to head coach. But the point is, Urban Meyer's gone. I don't know what he's got this week, whether it's mesothelioma or, I don't know what he's got. Vertigo, I don't know. Who looked good? Syracuse looked good, 54-23 over Louisville. Cost the man his job, too. Louisville finally parts ways with Bobby Petrino, this human garbage here, right? Bobby Petrino and Urban Meyer, they're two worst individuals in college football. I don't think so. But anyway, thank God. Louisville, you did the right thing firing this clown Petrino. Yeah, Syracuse looked good. Notre Dame looked good with a backup quarterback, but it was FSU, though, 42-13. They say Ian Book be back this week. Big game this week for the Domers playing Syracuse. Now, these people that hate Notre Dame looking for a loss, this is your last hope here, Syracuse, because Southern Cal is terrible. They got beat by Cal this past week, so Notre Dame's not losing to Southern Cal. So Notre Dame wins this week. In my opinion, they're a lot to make the playoffs. Of course, I've been telling you for 6 weeks they're making the playoffs, but y'all don't listen to nobody. Michigan won again big, 42-7. West Virginia won big, 47-10. Who's the best teams? Well, they didn't change. No losses in the top 10 this week, right? So who's the best 5 or 6 teams in no particular order? Well, the same as they were last week. Michigan, Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Oklahoma. Can you really put Oklahoma in there, though? No defense at all. West Virginia plays deep. You don't see West Virginia giving up 40-some points, do you? Let me check again. Nope, they won 47-10. West Virginia's going to beat the bejesus out of Oklahoma. Might beat them twice in a row. Anyway, Oklahoma's season's over. They're not winning the Big 12, are they? Not with that garbage can defense. Those are your best teams. Clemson, Notre Dame, Bama, Georgia, Michigan. I think those are your best 5 teams. There are some good teams after that, right? Ohio State, Oklahoma, Washington State, West Virginia, Central Florida. West Virginia's a good team. Don't underestimate them. I have a feeling the Big 12 is going to get left on the outside looking in this year. West Virginia's a good team, though. Oh, well, let's add this. Worst fans of the week this week. Barners. Faltards. The 2 worst fans. Barners have disappeared. You know, all the Barners that were bragging about beating Georgia and Alabama during the regular season last year and trying to justify Gus Malzahn's huge raise and extension on that contract, 7 years, $7 million for $49 million. All those people have disappeared, or either now they're contributing to that GoFundMe page to help get up the buyout for Gus Malzahn's contract and pretending they never said any of that, 11 months ago. But we remember. And like I said, the Voltards, these people, you ain't seen hide or hair of these people in months. And you beat Kentucky. Here they come running to the UNCLELOU channel, commenting all the way back onto the preview video I did in the offseason. About Tennessee, where I predicted their every game and had them going 5-7 and all the way back to that, trying to let me know that the Vols are back. Okay, yeah, well, been hearing that for a while. Like I said, 2-13 in your last 15 SEC games. Hadn't won the East in over a decade. Hadn't won the SEC since last century. You've had more coaches than you've had wins over UGA in the last 10 years. What's your record against your 3 biggest rivals, Georgia, Florida, and Alabama? It's something like 3-24 over the last 9 years or something. I mean, you're just a terrible team. But anyway, I do enjoy the comments in the comment section, so keep them coming with the type. And I'll see you guys at 3 o'clock for the live show. Have a good one.